Hey there, I'm Ken, this is Canadian Retro Things, and this is a disassembly video. So in my last video, I showed you how I'm using this to capture video on some of my oldest video game consoles and computers that I have, like my Atari 2600, my Intellivision, my ColecoVision. Well, when I released that video last week, which, by the way, I'll put a link somewhere up here and down there, you should check that video out, I did get a little bit of interest to see what is inside of this box, and yeah. So today I'm going to take this apart and look at what makes this tick. I mean, I have to admit I really don't know exactly how this works, but hey, let's take a look at the components that are in there. All right, let's pop this thing open, take a look at the inside, and see how it works. And just in case I rip this sticker anymore, it's a model number CTC8870. And there is the inside of it. All right, well, first thing, I'm no expert on how this thing actually does the conversion and everything, but I will just look at the individual parts as well as I can. So you can see that the power comes in here on the mains to this board right here, and then it immediately comes back out to this plug at the back, and from the board it goes into this transformer, where you can see on the black cable right here, it says that it comes out as 12 volts and 5 volts into this board right here, which the brains of the operation right here is the KS88C4208, which is an 8-bit CMOS microcontroller. And this is the board that would control all of the buttons on the front of the machine, which are the volume, which are these two right here, up and down volume, the channel selector, and the power button. And at the very front of the board here, you have a 3-digit display for the channel number. So all of that stuff is handled by this board. And then you can see that there are two metal boxes here. One on the bottom where the signal comes into, and the one on the top is the one that the signal comes out of. But you know what? We can take this apart a little bit more, so let's do that. So try as I might to get into this box, it's just not coming apart. I mean, I tried to pry this up a little bit, the whole thing started bending. I do not want to break it, so that's as far as I'm going to go. But this is a good heavy component here. It's got a circuit board on the back. So I'm assuming what happens here is your cable goes into here, or your signal comes into this one right here, and it splits off into two. It goes through this one and comes out onto this board, so it can be affected by your channel selection or your volume, everything else. And then it goes back in through this wire into this side of this board, back out of here into your TV set or whatever. There's also the channel selector here for which this is going to be broadcast onto 3 or 4. The other thing that happens is it comes over here out of this one and up into this section, which has another chip in here. So I'm assuming that this little circuit side of the circuit board here breaks off the signal into the picture and the sound and sends it out the composite cable. So I can test whether the two sides are working together or independently with this cable here hooked up, and then both sides should be working at the same time when it's hooked up. It'll be broadcasting out the composite and out of this one right here, the RF here. And then if I unhook the cable, this cable, then we'll see if both or one of the sides are affected. My guess is that they should be working together. And that is basically what's going on here. Now all I have to do is put this back together and see if it still works. Alright, so I have my ColecoVision hooked up to the box. I have the box with the regular cable hooked up to this monitor, and the composite is hooked up to the OBS on this monitor. So it appears to be working. So the question is, if I disconnect the cable from the back, will it affect just the one monitor or will it affect both of them? Let's see. It affects both of them. So it looks like the two halves of that top little box in there do actually work together. How about changing the channel on here? And that also affects both. So well, there we go. That cable box still works, which is a definite plus because I can still capture footage from those old consoles and I can still stream them on Twitch. By the way, if you have not checked out my Twitch channel, take a look down there, right down there. There's a link. I'd love it if you dropped by, said hi while I'm streaming, talked about old computers. I'm always up for talking about old computers and old games. But yeah, we've seen the inside of that cable box. We've seen what components are in there. If you know more about how that works, I'd love to hear about it down in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what you can do with the liking, the subscribing, and or the commenting below, because anything and everything you do is always greatly appreciated. See you next time.